part of
So,
your political background that I found was a lot, you helped with constituent outreach. So what is your previous political experience that you do have?
okay. When I got a bachelor's of arts in political science, international studies in 2009 from Kansas State University. And in 2010, my first year in the real working world, I, what was it? My friend Athen told me about his aunt who was running for office. And it turned out his aunt was actually friends with my mom. They both worked at the same hospital together. And when like Barbara like emailed my mom and was like, "Oh, how does Amelia know Athen?" It was just like totally full circle. So the first candidate I ever helped with was Barbara Bollier in 2010 for not very long. I don't list it on my CV because back then she was Anna Marie's mom and I didn't get paid and it was very short. It was something like a formative experience that I carry with me now. One of the first people I called when I filed was Barbara. And she was like, "Oh, let me tell you everything." After that, yeah, because like I needed to go back to Europe for a few months, so very short time with Barbara. Come back from Europe, there was no progressive politics in Kansas in 2010, 2011. I
Yeah.
had to forge a path. So I got a job as a live-in nanny in Chevy Chase, Maryland, and spent about 6 months in DC just trying to figure it out. Yeah, that job didn't work out. That's okay. But just being around people who knew something about politics set me on the path of coming back to Kansas City, walking into Claire McCaskill's office in Westport and saying, "What can I do?" And they were like, "We haven't had an intern here in a while. Do you want to open our mail for us and answer our phone?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sold. I'll do it." And that was like the first time I really got to do constituent services. And I honestly loved it, even though it was hard work. With that job, not only did I answer the phone and answer the mail, Claire was on the committee of aging, and I would have to go with the field rep to different old folks' homes and different senior lunches and really sit down with these people and ask them, "What are your issues?" And this was part of why Claire voted for the Keystone Pipeline and really pissed Obama off with that, was because in central Missouri, and even not too far outside of Kansas City, we're looking at a lot of towns that are dying. With these older people, they're watching young people go away, and there's no good jobs. With the Keystone Pipeline, that would have brought good jobs. They were also really afraid of the slowdown of the mail, which is something that continues to happen. The Republican attacks on the U.S. Postal Service is still going on today. Because for a lot of these people out in rural Missouri, that's how they got their medicines, but this is also one of the few remaining good jobs in the area that would keep young people around. So it really opened up my eyes to maybe some of the stories that I had gotten as a woke person, a progressive who grew up in Fairway Mission Hills. It's easy to look down on people when you can write a story in your head. When you have to go talk to them and really take what they're saying seriously, there's a lot of empathy there. After that, I joined on her campaign, and that was a hell of a time. When they first gave me the job description, I was like, "Oh my God." They were like, "It's going to be 7 days a week, about 12 hours a day." Oh my God. It was a blast. This is part of why I'm a little, you've never been on a campaign and you want to run for the state house. Maybe you should think about that. But it was awesome, though. I really realized I can do this and just really what being in politics is like. I often tell people it's not so much a job as it is a lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that,
After,
oh,
yeah.
sorry, go on. I
Oh,
was
no,
going to
no,
say,
no, it's okay.
I was going to say that, yeah, because part of, I had efforts recruiting people for Kansas House, and I think that's why we ended up, I don't know about your race specifically, but it's one of the scenarios. I think that there were multiple people trying to get people to run, and there wasn't a lot of communication, and you don't know who else is out there planning to run. We in Kansas House District 81, we had no idea until June 1st that we were going to have a primary. We had no inkling, no word, no whispers. And so you don't know what is going on out there and who other people are debating running and aren't talking about it. And so that happens. And then I'm so sorry, I got off my own track. Oh, but so in that process of recruiting people, I basically was just like, hey, if you want to run, contact me and we'll talk about it. And so there were several candidates that I had sought out and contacted myself to be like, I think you'd be you should run for Kansas House. And like, I looked at their district and did their viability and all this stuff. But then it came down to, like you said, with your grandma, there's something personal happening in their life that they know they can't devote that, because when you're doing a campaign, yeah, it takes over your life. And you have to, if you have a partner or children or anybody else, especially in your household, they have to be prepared. And it's a conversation you have to make together. You can't just say, I'm going to run, wifey or husband or whatever. Hey, kids, your dad's running for Kansas House. Everyone's going to. So it's a conversation you have to have with your household and make sure that it's the right time in your life to be able to have your life taken over.
Yeah. Yeah, that is part of why, as I said, like, I'm sure me and these two guys will agree on everything, but this is something that, like, at first it did worry my family, but 2 years ago, they knew I was campaigning and they helped me with grandma. So this wasn't like a thief in the night, like how much I'm going to have to devote to this. They already knew. And like, I've also gotten some help from friends because I don't just leave her here. Like,
Yeah.
No way I'm going to do that.
Yeah. It's like people that run that have a child. It's the same difference. You can't just leave your kid home alone while you go canvass.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but I think that the constituent part was really interesting to me, because that's something that I feel like is a problem in our legislature, is that they're not keeping in touch with and communicating and listening to the constituents.
It's just this is my big campaign promise, is I will answer my email. And yeah, like the feedback I've gotten from that is, oh, great, it's going to be such an upgrade from Laura, because I've emailed her before and nothing. I've heard this from several people. What I've been told, that this district was gerrymandered for Laura, and she has been able to hang on to the seat, and then she acts like that. It is frustrating, and it feels like it's just a sense of entitlement that somebody in an elected position should not have.
Yeah, I think that I've heard this a lot from candidates, and it's one of the reasons why many of them are running, is because they tried to do basically like you did. They tried to help in the process as they were told they were supposed to. You're supposed to write and email, and you did way more than that, right? And if you don't like what's happening, you need to let them know, and you need to go and advocate and do all these other things. And so they were trying and trying for all these years to do it the right way, and then kept hitting the same roadblocks that you're hitting. And so they finally have said, you know what, I guess I'm going to just have to go up there and take care of this myself.
Yeah.
Since no one's listening to me, or they're responding with obviously canned emails, because when they're getting a lot of complaints about the same topic, you can tell that their response was something they're responding to everybody complaining about that topic. Or in District 81, he laugh reacted, and he just responded with snarkiness and rudeness is how he responded, which is even worse than being ignored, if you ask me. I'd rather you just ignore me. But yeah, it's just, I'm a constituent, I'm a voter. You can't talk to me like that, whether we agree or not. And I think that, yeah, that's the problem. They're either completely silent, or they're not treating the constituents. They're just not responding. And I realize they have a lot going on. They have a lot on their plate. And
when I was in grad school,
maybe they don't. Tell me.
I sat down with Representative Lusk, because she helped me with a paper in my last semester of grad school. And she showed me an email that she had composed about medical marijuana and her thoughts and all of this. She was able to respond to emails. I'm just saying, I think that they could if they tried, But it goes back to this sense of entitlement that I think we're all picking up on and we're all very tired of with elected officials.